The 10 Best Principles to Lose Body and Belly Fat Easily. A science-based guide introduction if you have ever looked at your abdomen and wondered why that fat refuses to disappear. You are not alone. You reduce calories, you perform endless crunches, you sweat during cardio sessions, you eliminate sugar, you skip desserts, and yet the belly fat seems to stay exactly where it is. It starts to feel very hard to get rid of. It feels personal. It feels unfair. But what if the problem is not your effort, and not your discipline? What if the real issue is misunderstanding how biology works? Belly fat does not resist your efforts. It is not immune to exercise. It is not protected by some special metabolic shield. It follows clear physiological laws. And once you understand those laws, fat loss becomes logical instead of emotional. Today, we will explain the 10 most effective, science-based ways to reduce overall body fat and belly fat. No detox myths. No miracle drinks. No shortcuts. Only mechanisms. Principle 1. Understand the 2 types of belly fat. To reduce belly fat effectively, you first need to understand it. There are 2 types of belly fat. Subcutaneous fat, which lies directly beneath the skin and is the soft fat you can pinch with your fingers. And visceral fat, which surrounds internal organs and is metabolically active. Visceral fat is linked to higher disease risk because it interacts more directly with metabolic processes. The most important point is that belly fat is not metabolically special. It does not need targeted exercises to burn it. Fat loss happens systemically, not locally. If someone loses 10 kilograms of fat, that loss occurs across the whole body, not just the abdomen. Abdominal exercises strengthen muscles but do not remove the fat covering them. Many people overtrain their belly while ignoring overall energy balance. Understanding that belly fat follows the same biological rules as fat on arms or legs helps remove confusion and frustration. Principle 2. Caloric deficit is the biological foundation. All fat loss begins with energy balance. If energy intake is lower than energy expenditure over time, the body must use stored energy. Stored energy includes fat tissue. There is no supplement, fruit, drink, or herb that overrides this principle. For example, if an individual maintains their weight at approximately 2,500 calories per day and consistently consumes 2,000 calories per day, that 500 calorie difference must come from stored tissue. Over time, this results in measurable fat reduction. Exercise can reduce visceral fat even without dramatic changes in body weight, which is why some people look leaner before the scale shifts significantly. However, long-term fat loss still requires sustained energy balance control. Aggressive calorie restriction is not superior to a moderate deficit. In fact, extreme dieting often reduces sustainability and increases rebound risk. The key is a controlled, consistent deficit maintained over time. Fat loss is not about suffering. It is about biological arithmetic. Principle 3. Build a sustainable nutritional structure. Most diets fail not because they don't work, but because they are impossible to maintain. Severe restrictions often create psychological backlash. A simple and powerful approach is to choose 3 favorite foods from each major category. High-protein foods, fats, fibrous vegetables, starches, milk products, and fruits, and then allow 2 flexible foods for enjoyment. This creates structure without feeling deprived. Protein sources could include chicken, eggs, fish, or lentils, fibrous vegetables like spinach, broccoli, carrots, or leafy greens, fruits such as apples, berries, or bananas, starches like rice, oats, or potatoes, milk products such as yogurt or milk, and fats like olive oil, nuts, or seeds. This structured flexibility improves adherence, and adherence determines results. When calories are controlled within this framework, fat loss happens without mental burnout. Principle 4. Prioritize protein intake. At least 1.6 grams per kilogram protein is metabolically unique because your body burns 20 to 30% of protein calories just to digest it, making it highly supportive of fat loss. The minimum effective intake is 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. So for someone weighing 70 kilograms, that equals 112 grams per day. Adequate protein preserves muscle during dieting. And muscle protects your metabolism, improves body composition, and supports long-term weight stability. 2 individuals may lose the same amount of weight, But the one who maintains sufficient protein and muscle will appear leaner and enjoy better. Metabolic health. Principle 5. Fat type influences visceral fat during overeating. While calories determine whether fat is gained or lost, the type of fat consumed influences fat distribution during periods of overfeeding. In controlled hypercaloric conditions, diets higher in saturated fat led to greater visceral fat accumulation compared to diets higher in polyunsaturated fats. This does not override energy balance. It adds nuance to it. When calories are controlled, visceral fat decreases regardless of fat type. However, during overeating, saturated fats appear more likely to promote central fat accumulation. This highlights that dietary composition matters, especially when energy intake exceeds expenditure. Principle 6. Resistance training preserves lean mass. You do not need cardio to lose fat. But resistance training is critical for preserving muscle during caloric restriction. Without resistance training, muscle loss increases significantly during dieting. Muscle is not only aesthetic. It protects metabolic rate and improves long-term success. Consider two individuals who each lose 10 kilograms. One performs consistent resistance training, preserving lean mass. The other does not. The first individual maintains muscle definition and metabolic strength. The second may lose more muscle and appear smaller but less defined. Resistance training reduces post-diet hunger, improves body composition, and lowers the likelihood of weight regain. It is not optional for optimal results. Principle 7. Protect your NEAT. Daily movement matters in EAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Includes walking, standing, daily movement, and spontaneous physical activity. During dieting, the body subconsciously reduces movement to conserve energy. People sit longer, fidget less, and move less overall. This reduction in unconscious movement lowers daily calorie expenditure and can slow fat loss progress. Maintaining daily activity levels, such as consistent walking, helps counteract this adaptation. Even simple differences in daily steps can significantly influence total energy expenditure. Cardio can assist in maintaining output, but regular daily movement is equally important. Understanding NEAT prevents unexpected plateaus during dieting. Principle 8. Sleep determines fat and muscle outcome. Sleep is one of the most underestimated factors in fat loss. Research comparing 4 hours versus 9 hours of sleep found that the sleep-restricted group consumed approximately 300 additional calories per day. They gained 1 pound and showed increases of 8% in subcutaneous fat and 11% in visceral fat. Even in a calorie deficit, individuals sleeping 5.5 hours compared to 8.5 hours lost 1.6 times more muscle and 2.3 times less fat. Sleep directly influences appetite, recovery, and fat partitioning. Poor sleep does not merely slow weight loss. It shifts the composition of that loss toward muscle instead of fat. Adequate sleep enhances efficiency and protects lean tissue. Principle 9. Belly fat is often the last to reduce. One of the most psychologically difficult aspects of fat loss is distribution timing. The abdomen is often the final area to show visible change. Individuals may notice reductions in facial fat, arm fat, or leg fat before abdominal changes occur. This does not indicate failure. It reflects biological patterning. Increasing restriction aggressively at this stage often leads to burnout and rebound. Patience is not optional in fat loss. It is required. Consistent application of the foundational principles eventually reduces central fat, but not always first. Principle 10. Sustainability over perfection. Extreme deficits are rarely sustainable. Strict diets often make people gain weight back later. Long-term success requires moderate energy control, adequate protein intake, resistance training, daily movement, proper sleep, and patience. Fat loss is not intensity. It is repetition. Not 7 days of perfection, but months of consistency. The body follows biological laws, not emotional reactions. When you align behavior with physiology, change becomes inevitable. Which one of these science-backed fat loss principles surprised you the most? And how do you think it could change the way you approach your own fitness journey?